Now can you hear me? Now can you hear me? My microphone is very touchy, so when I move it, all you gotta do is touch it and it mutes. Good morning, good morning. Everybody come in, get your seats. It is April 15th. Now you can hear me good. I mute it. See, look, all I gotta do is touch it. And then it mutes it. Very touchy. Should I get the anti-deb mic? Is this the same one that anti-deb has? Maybe. It is touchier than I'm used to. Okay, so today is day 10 of jury selection. And what that means is that we have now officially doubled the days of jury selection from the first trial. The first trial, we had 5 days of jury selection. And now we are going into day 10, which means we have officially doubled the jury selection process from trial 1. Also, what that means is it is Taco Tuesday. So that's exciting. It is also tax day for anyone who remembered and didn't have to file an extension like me. So there's all kinds of big things happening today. Our totals so far, we are at 536 jurors that have been brought in so far. 536. So we are still plucking away. Yesterday, if you didn't catch the recap, yesterday we had one that we added, but we also had one that we lost. So we are still at 16. We are still at 8 men and 8 women. And we are still at 16. We were supposed to be getting opening statements today. That was the plan. That was the plan. But can y'all hear Tinsley snoring? My sweet little oh, my camera follows me. That's so weird. I don't know how to turn it off. Tinsley's over there snoring. She's having a dream, her sweet little self. Where and when is this recap? The recap is under Crime Junkie Jury under the shorts section. So I do a quick recap at the end of every day so that you can, if you need to know like I do, if you're nosy like me and just need all the information, you can find out who, if anyone, was seated, how many jurors we have, how many we have left, and all of the inside scoop from the courtroom. So, like Mark Tinsley, yes, my dog is named Tinsley, but she was named Tinsley before I got to know Mark Tinsley. So it just was, just one of those meant to be coincidences. Good morning. Good morning. Hello. Hello. I don't go to the podcast. Yeah, it follows me. If I don't know how to make it not follow me, but that's okay. Hello, Marie Moss, our official statistician. It is good to see you. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I have, yes, fate. It's fate. Tinsley the dog is fate. Good morning. Good morning. If you missed yesterday, we did our counting. We got our numbers figured out. There were 55 that were brought in. 49 of the 55 had heard of the case, so only 6 had not heard of it. And 24 had already formed an opinion. So, there's that. But we were able to seat one yesterday, but we lost one yesterday. So, we're still at 16. We need 2 more before they move forward with openings. So we're still waiting to see what happens, what, if anything, happens in the world of Karen Reed 2.0. We'll see. Maybe it'll be today. What do y'all think? You think we'll get our extra 2 today without losing any more? Good morning. Good morning. We seem to be losing some almost daily. Uh, and I see a lot of you have messaged me asking me why. They don't really tell us why. I know a lot of times when they lose jurors, it's because there's been some kind of issue that, they realize after they've left. We've heard before in other trials, like they got home and realized they had vacation planned, or they realized they, couldn't afford to take off work, or they, whatever the situation may be. With this one being, so long, that's a big ask to have people set aside the next 2 months of their life. So, you know, it's a lot. Also, there were some new filings, and there was a new filing today. Let me see. Or was it Shay? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was this morning. Um, Yep, Commonwealth's motion for notice of any visual aids, potential exhibits, or potential chalks that will be displayed to the jury during opening statements. So, opening statements, the Commonwealth notifies the court it intends to introduce recorded statements of the defendant in its opening statement, and will produce a copy of the recorded statements to the court in advance of opening statements for a ruling on admissibility. Further, if allowed, the recordings should be marked for identification. So a complete record is made of all items shown to jurors in the courtroom during trial. So they're wanting to use recordings of Karen Reed's statements in the openings. It's going to be a very, very different opening and a very, very different trial than the last one. Their entire process, their entire strategy, everything that we've seen so far is going to be very different. So it'll be interesting. I know that there has been so much put on the Commonwealth, the prosecution wanting to get all of the interviews, all of the recorded, any of the extra footage, all of that stuff. So I think that's going to be probably a lot of what we can expect to see, is anything that anything and everything that she has said in any kind of interview or anything. So, the double jeopardy was denied too, wasn't it? Yes. The appeal has gone now to the Supreme Court of the United States, and they are scheduled to hear it on April 25th, I think is the date that I had. I'll have to go back and check. I'm pretty sure it's the 25th. So, which basically means that the Supreme Court justices are just going to go in and discuss it briefly, decide if they want to hear it or not. 4 out of 9 have to agree to hear it before they will accept it and move forward. So, she did not get an outright denial from them yet. See how I turn my head and it moves? That's so weird. I don't know how to make it not do that. So I know that statistically speaking, it is not common for the Supreme Court of the United States to actually take on a case. Out of 7 or 8,000 per year, they only take on around 100, 150. So statistically speaking, it's a long shot. But the fact that she has not been just outright denied, that it's actually being, being discussed on the 25th, is one good sign. So we'll see. We'll see. That's on the 25th. Now, the openings, they had said were going to be today. However, we still don't have as many jurors as they're wanting us to have. So they're wanting to get an extra 2 jurors on top of what we have now. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Hi, Joni. Good to see you. Hey, everyone. holy crow, I've been gone for a bit. Came back and saw this on my YouTube feed. I'm like, that looks like my Brandi girl. It is. It's me. It's me. Marriage looks so good on you, love. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Marriage has been fun so far. It's like, let's get married and then I'll see you in 2 months after the trial is over. It's okay. Mass Dad said the fact that it's being discussed at the 425 conference means nothing. I wouldn't say it means nothing because, like I said, it is, a lot of them will get denied without ever being heard at the conference. So I wouldn't say it means nothing. The fact that it's going to conference does say that there's at least some kind of meat on that bone, but statistically, it's still not likely that anything will happen after the conference. So, it's such a long shot on that. Such a long shot. Hello, in my opinion. Good morning, Brain. It took me a minute to find you again. I'm right here. I'm right here. Can that be our poll? When do people think openings will be? Yeah, I can put up a poll. We love a good poll to vote on in the mornings. All right, let's see. So when do we want our options to be? Y'all are running this boat, running this ship, steering this boat. What's the saying? Is that a saying? Am I just making that up? Is that a thing? I could just be making it up. Okay. When are openings going to be? We'll say tomorrow. What's tomorrow? Wednesday? We'll say Thursday. We'll say Friday. And we'll say next week. Those are our options. So pick which one you think is most likely. Most likely. I think this trial is going to go into August. Oh, it might. I'm just exhausted even thinking about that, Brenda. It could. It could. How do you feel about the trial this time around? I feel like it's going to be very different, which means it's going to be very interesting. There's going to be a lot of new information coming up. So I feel like because there's going to be new evidence and a whole new strategy and new things brought in, maybe we'll get a clearer picture of what happened. But I just think that with everybody drinking and nobody seeing anything and none of the evidence really making a whole lot of sense, I just think we're never going to really know exactly what happened. But maybe this time around we'll get a little more insight. Where's our only clock? Our only clock has not started yet. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. It better not go into August because Coburger starts in August and I need a break between the two. Yeah. I was planning on trying to cover Coburger next. If this one lasts too long, that will be difficult. So oh, Good Friday on Friday. That's not listed as a court date. I'm pretty sure Monday is a court holiday. I don't think that when I checked Norfolk court holidays, they had Monday. Let me double check. But I don't think they had. What is the date? Memorial Day. Yeah, I don't think they have. That one off. But Monday is a holiday, so there's no court on Monday. Gonna ruin my summer outdoors. Everybody's gonna be stuck here at jury duty instead of enjoying the great outdoors. Good morning, good morning. I see some of y'all still coming in. Yes, please cover Idaho. I was planning on it, but man, if this depending on how this one goes. Ooh. I'm too optimistic with my Thursday vote then. Good Friday is not a court holiday. We are closed 4/21 for Patriots Day. Yeah, that's what I had on my calendar is 4/21. But not Friday. But also in this court, remember from last year, there would be some Hoff days, is what she calls them, Hoff days. She sounds very fancy when she says it like that. There are some Hoff days, and then also there are some sporadic days. I think she calls them sprinkled in. I love that term, where there's days that they have off and things like that. So we haven't gotten that full schedule yet. Oh, Corey Richardson case delayed indefinitely now. Oh, really? I haven't seen that. I was very busy yesterday and haven't seen that. Why is that one delayed indefinitely now? Hoff days. I love a Hoff day. Gotta love a Hoff day. Good morning, good morning. Come in, come in. Hello, hello. Good morning. We're still waiting on our only clock or our only fan, whichever comes first. It's been the clock lately. Hoss days. It's not really indefinitely, but it delayed based on motions filed last week. It was a whole thing. Oh. That shows how much time I've had to check up on. We've got our let me share my screen. We've got our only fan, but the only fan is off.
I'm gonna start this document. So this was like basically.
Gotta love a Hoff day. Gotta love a Hoff day.
Yeah, putting in like that last column or whatever.
Just like their name, their numbers, and then
The initial one.
Our only fan. Good morning. Good morning. Hello. Hello.
there's basically the sheet that we will have info on people.
Good morning. Good morning.
You want me to input the names? Or
Has she responded to any more of the pending motions that were
They give us like
just in limbo before jury selection? Haven't heard of anything, but didn't know if I missed something. I checked the docket again this morning, and I did not see any more. I think I might still have it pulled up. Nope, I've exited out of it already.
yeah.
I did not see any more.
Yeah, it'll take too long to go elsewhere.
So she's still got some of that to roll on. Now, some of them, remember, she said she's going to wait until it gets closer to time and kind of rule in the moment. But some of them will still need to address before court starts. So that's the only fan I subscribe to. It's our only fan. I love our only fan. Hello, good morning, good morning.
They were doing social media while we were doing.
I know some of them, she said she wanted to wait until it got,
My understanding is yesterday was in that.
I guess,
that notion.
before some of those, like, I think with some of the, I'm trying to remember which ones there were, because I remember there were some of them that she said they were going to handle it as during trial when it got to the point. Remember, Brendan wanted ARCA to come in before trial too, and he didn't want them to do their voir dire before they testified during trial. He wanted them to come in beforehand, and that has not happened or has not been ruled on. So, if she's acquitted, do you think that they will investigate the people in the house? John's family needs answers. No, I don't,
Yeah.
unfortunately, because when someone is acquitted, they very rarely will start investigating again because they just think that they had the right person and there wasn't enough evidence to convict. So normally the case is closed. Ooh. Don't know what happened. This is like, y'all remember, for those of you who are also at the age where we're using eye cream, you probably remember this. You remember the TV back in the day before there was TV all the time? You remember, like, if you would fall asleep with the TV on and you'd wake up to this? Y'all remember that? Who's with me? Somebody has to remember that. And it would be like, wasn't that what this was? See, I knew I wasn't the only one. Y'all remember that. My people, my people. Yep, or the loud commercials. Yes, and the ones, they always had the one with the knife that cut the penny. And, like, 8-year-old me was like, I might need to cut a penny one day. How can I get you start thinking in the middle of the night when you see these things that you need them. Like, 8-year-old me truly believed that I was one day in my life more than likely going to need to cut a penny. 42-year-old me has yet to have to do that, but never say never. Never say never. Ginsu knives. Yes, that's what it was. The Ginsu knives. I loved a Ginsu knife. Let me see if I can figure out what's going on here. I don't know. When it comes back on, I'll put it back on here. Definitely. I'm glad y'all remember that. And they cut a tomato after cutting and it just sliced right through it. Sliced right through it. What about it's 10 o'clock? Do you know where your kids are? And the ShamWow. Remember ShamWow? Didn't that guy have like some kind of true crime situation happening? I can't remember what that was. I need to look at that. Wasn't there some kind of something that happened with the ShamWow guy? Y'all will know. But wait, there's more. That was the best part. And then you're like, what else is there? I can cut more than a penny in a tomato. What else could you possibly cut? Who remembers the static? Yeah, the static. So my dad was on The Price is Right back like 480 something years ago. So he was on The Price is Right and he won a TV, and it was like this one of those silver TVs with the bunny ears, and it had 2 dials on it. One that you turn it on, and once you turn it on, then you like that's the volume also. And then the other one was the, channel. You turn the channel. There were no like remotes or anything like that. That was, that was fancy stuff. And I can remember like, me and my brother would fall asleep watching that TV and wake up and it would be like the static or the or that noise we just heard, like with the color blocks or whatever. Oh, play paper, rock, scissors to decide who was going to get up and have to go change the channel. And put tinfoil. You put tinfoil on the bunny ears to pull the channels, get them right. He passed away. What was it? Wasn't it something weird? I vaguely remember it, and I could just be remembering wrong, but I thought he had some kind of strange death or something. Yeah, kids were the remote. I was the remote. For the longest time, I thought that that's the only reason my parents had kids, so we could change the channel and pull weeds out of the pine aisle. I hate it when my mom would make me get up and change the channel for her. I know. Kids don't know how easy they have it. The AOL connection sound, that one was, yeah. I still love the AOL. Like you'd sit there and wait on it to connect, like so excited to see if you had mail. So excited. Billy Mays, that was his name. I loved the AOL sound. Yeah. You've got mail. Oh, be so excited. Now I have 10,000 something notifications telling me I've got mail, and I am not like I don't get excited anymore. Back in the day, it was exciting. Not anymore. Freak accident. Suitcase fell out of overhead and hit him in the head. Oh, wow. See, I thought I remembered it being something weird. Yeah, you couldn't get on the phone while someone was using the computer. You remember having to call I was trying to tell my kid about all these things that he never had to deal with before. Remember having to call the movie theater to get the movie times, and you would have to listen the whole time, and you'd have to go through the whole shebang to get to your movie, and it felt like the movie that you were waiting on was always like the boring grown-up movies in the beginning, and then you'd have to wait forever to get to yours. And then, God forbid somebody talked while they were saying your time because you waited that whole time. Because if you didn't hear it, then you'd have to wait on it to start over again. Movie phone. Somebody changed too much technology and social media. Yeah. Rotary phones. Oh, yeah. Rotary phones. My nanny had one of those. Who remembers calling the radio stations to request a song to be played? Oh my gosh, yes. Yes. Or like when they had contests and you try to get through and it was busy forever. Ugh. Calling 411 for a number. Oh, that's a good one. Yes, looking for a listing. Oh my gosh, I forgot about that one, guardrails. Oh, I forgot about that one. Are we kicked out of court today? We're waiting on the feed to come back. I don't know what's going on with it. So we're just waiting patiently. We used to make prank phone calls, no caller ID. Yeah, there was no caller ID. They could, what was it, star 69, where it could call you back, but it could call you right back, but they couldn't see who it was. So as long as you were there to answer the phone when they called back, it was fine. But you could hide it too. What was it, star 67 to hide it? I think. Is that right? Or in a phone book. Oh my gosh, the phone books. That always reminds me of that movie. Is it The Jerk? Where he's like, the new phone books are here. The new phone books are here. I'm loving this walk through my childhood memories. I know, me too. The rotary phones could be used as a weapon or calling for the correct time. Yes. Calling for time and temp. Oh. Like, who remembers having to go, like, when you had stuff like if you had like a report due, you actually had to go get encyclopedias. I remember my parents bought us encyclopedias. Like, they used to have people that would come door to door and sell encyclopedias. And it's like that you would make payments on them. It was a big deal because that was before there was, this like phone that you could look up anything you wanted to, and everybody had computers in their home and stuff. It was like a big deal. And to have encyclopedias. And my parents bought us a set of encyclopedias, and we were like, oh, we are going to be so smart. Like, this is an investment in our future. Our encyclopedias. Or try to record your favorite song without the DJ talking. Yes. And then when you've listened to it over and over, you know how when you hear a song so many times, it gets ingrained in your head exactly how you hear it. So then if you ever heard it without like that, the end of that, where the DJ's coming on and starting to say something, then you're like, oh, where's my DJ? Because you get so used to hearing it. Yeah. Remember back when MTV actually played music, when music television actually played music, they would have their countdowns and stuff. And I used to have the little tape recorder I'd put in front of the speaker and hit record on my favorite songs. Oh. Mixtapes. They just weren't the same back. It was a different. You had to put in some effort for mixtapes. This is not just like an Apple playlist. It took some effort. My grandmother had a party line, and you'd pick up the phone and hear people talking, and you couldn't make a call until they were done. Gosh, that's crazy. Party line. I once won a trip to see New Kids on the Block at the Superdome in New Orleans from a radio contest. It was the greatest thing that had ever happened to me in all my 13 years. Yes. I actually saw them in concert as an adult when they came back on tour. That was amazing. People would freak out if we had phone books now. I know, right? Card catalogs. Oh, yes. Remember Teddy Ruxpin? Yes, I had a Teddy Ruxpin. I loved Teddy Ruxpin. I loved it. I always called the operator when the power went out to get the time. But the good thing about the home phones is that if you were annoyed, you could actually like slam it down. And you felt like you were getting somewhere with that. With an iPhone, you can't slam it because then you break it. All you can do is touch the screen, and it just doesn't give you that same cathartic release, Just not the same. Encyclopedias and Kirby vacuum cleaners. For punishment, teachers would make us copy a random page from the encyclopedia. That's funny. I would always have to write sentences when I would get in trouble. Pop-up video. Oh, I loved pop-up video, where you would watch the videos and it would pop up with like the little facts about the video and like behind the scenes stuff and like just random facts. I loved that. I loved that. Oh, I forgot about that. Mixtapes were harder than they sound. They were. It took some effort. I'm late. What did I miss? You have missed reminiscing on our childhood. Blockbuster. Oh my gosh. Yes. We would go to Blockbuster like every Friday night and pick a movie, and you'd get like popcorn and candy at the front when you're checking out, and I remember having to use a pencil to rewind my cassette tapes that had gotten messed up. Yes. I remember I had a Bangles cassette tape. Remember the Bangles? Loved the Bangles. Walk Like an Egyptian. In Your Room. Nobody? Okay. I love the Bangles. Anyway, yeah, that one always used to get messed up and I would have to use my pencil. Can't believe how many phone numbers I used to have memorized. Now, none, barely mine. I know my husband and I were somewhere checking out or some store. I can't remember. Anyway, they asked for phone number and I was like, I couldn't remember if it was under my phone number or his phone number. And so I gave them mine or something. And then it wasn't under mine. So they asked for his. And I was like, I don't know my husband's phone number. I don't know. I don't know. I know my grandmother's phone number. That's the only phone number that I know. I don't even know my kid's phone number. It's on speed dial. Bring back Delilah. Oh, yeah, I loved Delilah. Delilah was good. Jukebox at the diner. Oh, yeah. The pocket dictionary. I forgot about those too. Back in the day, the phone company doxed everyone that had a telephone, right? How about green stamps from the grocery stores? We used to spend hours putting those in the books so my mom could get the plates in a set. Oh, gosh. Rainbow vacuums. Oh, yeah. Rainbow vacuums were really good. They made a comeback not too many years ago, like maybe 10 years ago or something. Spring Break was always, yes. Okay. So remember Spring Break on MTV? They were always at, in Panama City Beach, and they were always at La Villa. And so where I live my place in Panama City Beach is like right there. And La Villa is closed now. It closed after Hurricane Michael because there was some damage done to it. So it's been closed since then. But I'm like, 20-year-old me would have loved to have been there at that time. But it's a good thing 20-year-old me wasn't there because they still have the sign out there too that says like party with thousands. It was always crazy. I miss Blockbuster so much. I know, me too, right? Kodak store in the middle of a parking lot. Roller skating rinks. I know people don't like, they still have them around, but it's not as much of a thing as it used to be. Eternal Flame. I love that song. Yes, that's a Bengals song. That's good. I love that one. I still remember most of the numbers from my childhood. That's impressive. I only remember my grandmother's phone number. I remember having to rent VHS tape from the movie store and then paying $1 if you didn't rewind. Please, yeah, be kind, please rewind. Yeah, we had in the little town I grew up in, there were no movie stores. There was we had one gas station that had movie rentals, and so we would go rent movies from there on the weekends, and because there was no Blockbuster in Walnut Grove, Georgia. Like it was, there was a liquor store, 2 gas stations, and pastures. So we would go to the name of the store is Crow. Like the gas station was called Crow's. We would go to Crow's, and they had right when you first walk in to the right, they had like this big section of movies, and so like the VHS, movies, and so we would go rent movies all the time. Gosh, that's like childhood excitement. Hello, hello, good morning, good morning. Lisa Frank. Oh my gosh, yes. And remember what was that other one at the mall that is it Hello Kitty? The one that had all the Hello Kitty stuff. Delilah's still in the air? I didn't know that. Getting a Sears catalog to put together your Christmas list. Do you think they got in trouble with the cameras in the courtroom? I saw pics on X last night of someone zooming in on Karen's computer. I don't know the authenticity, but now I'm nervous. I think they're just later today. Delilah's still going strong. I didn't know that. I haven't listened in so long. Walkmans, yes. When I used to play basketball, we had I had like the CD player Walkman, and that was like high technology then. I think I got it for like Christmas or something. And so when I used to go to my basketball games, I would have that, and it's like our team would be like walking in, and we'd have our music on and on our Walkmans, and trying to get like pumped up when we're going in there, and and it's like if you get too pumped up and walk, then it skips, and you're like, oh wait, calm down, Brandi, calm down. Why I'm in 17 magazine. 17 magazine. I loved 17 magazine. Kmart. I used to love Kmart. I loved Kmart. Oh, here we go. Little walk down memory lane.
2282CR117, the Commonwealth versus Karen Reed. Can I have counsel identify themselves? Oh, I'm sorry. Forget it. I know who you are. What do I do now? I don't know. It's all, I'm very confused. How we were going. But they were doing something.
The host would like you to unmute your microphone. Press.
He said, I don't know. I'm confused.
Unmuted. You are muted.
All right, very good.
What is entering?
Oh, LimeWire. Oh, Zoom works.
Thank you.
Yeah. You can keep this.
I haven't heard yet how many are in there.
Phones off and go away, please. Thank you. Come on, everyone. Come on. Sir, keep work. Excuse me, down. Okay, I'll go back. Thank you. We'll keep it perfect. Thank you.
God save the Commonwealth. I love it when they say, hear ye, hear ye.
Good morning. Phones off and go away, please.
There's all eyes, please. Hear ye. All persons having any business before the Honorable Beverly County, just as in the Norfolk Superior Court before the County of Norfolk. Do I hear, give your attendance, you shall be heard. I say the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the court is now open, jurors remain standing, all other parties may be seated.
Jurors, can I get you to raise your right hands? Do you solemnly swear to make true answers to such questions as you put forth to you by the court, so help you God? Thank you. You can have a seat. May I call the case, Your Honor?
Please.
Judge, this is 2282 CR 117, the Commonwealth versus Karen Reed. Can I have counsel identify themselves for the record?
Good morning, Your Honor. Laura McLaughlin for the Commonwealth.
Good morning, Ms. McLaughlin.
Adam Lally for the Commonwealth. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Lally.
Good morning, Your Honor. Hank Brennan for the Commonwealth.
Good morning, Mr. Brennan.
Good morning, Your Honor. Alan Jackson from the street.
Good morning, Mr. Jackson.
Good morning, Your Honor. Elizabeth Little, also on behalf.
Good morning, Ms. Little.
Morning, Your Honor. Robert Leslie on behalf of the three.
Good morning, Mr. Alessi.
Good morning, Your Honor. Karen Reed.
Good morning, Mr. Yannetti.
Good morning, Your Honor. Victoria George for Karen Reed.
Good morning, Ms. George. Good morning, Ms. Reed. All right, good morning, jurors. My name's Beverly Canoni. I'm a judge of this court, and I want to welcome you here today and give you some idea on how we think your day is going to shape up. As you've heard, we're impaneling a criminal case, Commonwealth versus Karen Reed. But before we begin, I want to thank you for your service here today and for your patience. Jury service is certainly one of the most important duties we have as citizens, and we simply couldn't work without you. The system would fail. So we really appreciate that you're here, ready, willing, and able to serve if called upon to do so. Now, in this case, the Commonwealth alleges that at approximately 6 a.m. on January 29, 2022, the Canton Police Department received a 911 call reporting an unresponsive male party in the snow outside a residence at 34 Fairview Road in that town. Officers responded and discovered the man, later identified as John O'Keefe, off the roadway in the front lawn area. Officers identified 3 women with Mr. O'Keefe, one of whom was the defendant, Karen Reed, the girlfriend of Mr. O'Keefe. The defendant had been with Mr. O'Keefe the previous evening at 2 different bars in Canton and had driven with him to his residence in the early morning hours of this date. Mr. O'Keefe was treated by paramedics from the Canton Fire Department and transported to the Good Samaritan Medical Center, where he subsequently was pronounced deceased. The Commonwealth alleges that the defendant struck Mr. O'Keefe with her vehicle earlier that morning and then left the scene while Mr. O'Keefe lay injured in the snow during a blizzard. Ms. Reed denies these allegations. She is presumed to be innocent and has pled not guilty. Ms. Reed is charged with second-degree murder. The defendant is also charged with manslaughter while operating a motor vehicle under the influence and leaving the scene after causing personal injury or death. I'll describe these crimes in greater detail at the end of the case when I teach the jury the law, but briefly, murder is the unlawful killing of a human being. There are various ways in which the Commonwealth can prove a murder case, and the Commonwealth is permitted to proceed under all theories it believes it can prove. Here, the Commonwealth alleges that the defendant committed murder, and that murder was murder in the second degree. In order to prove Ms. Reed guilty of second-degree murder, the Commonwealth must prove beyond a reasonable doubt that she committed an unlawful killing and that it was done with malice. In comparison, involuntary manslaughter is an unintentional, unlawful killing caused by wanton or reckless conduct. These terms and the elements of the crimes will be explained to you in detail at the end of the case before you begin your deliberations. Now, at the outset, I would like to address the issue of public interest in this case and the duty of this court to adhere to the rule of law. John Adams said that we are a government of laws, not of men, and that the law must be deaf to the clamoring of the public. He meant that while public opinion about a given subject may ebb and flow, the law must be steady, reliable, and even-handed. We know that in the subject of this case, there are people advocating for one outcome or another with intensity, but without the benefit of having heard or seen any evidence at all in this case. The law works in a different way, and the difference is crucial to our system of justice. The jurors selected for this trial will hear and judge the evidence. They will decide what the facts are, and where the evidence is contested, they will determine where the truth lies. Ultimately, The jury will decide whether the Commonwealth has carried its burden of proving that the defendant is guilty of any crime beyond a reasonable doubt. People outside of this building have rights, and we know that they have voices, but this criminal trial will be decided by an independent jury, free from outside interference, based only upon the evidence presented in this courtroom and the law. This is the only way to ensure that every person who comes before the court receives a fair trial. It is just that simple and that important. So while public comment will likely continue, the rule of law will be upheld. In order to determine your eligibility to serve on this case, I'm going to ask you a series of questions as a group, and then I'm going to ask you to fill out a supplemental questionnaire. We have found that the use of this questionnaire is helpful for several reasons. First, there are some personal questions on it, and we ask that you be candid. In addition, the process of filling out the questionnaire provides the opportunity to be more reflective as you answer the questions, rather than being put on the spot and asked to give immediate answers. After you fill out the questionnaire, we will have each one of you come up to the sidebar one at a time so that we can follow up with you on your answers to that questionnaire and to my questions. I want to thank you in advance for your patience as we go through this process. As you may know, the lawyers for the parties participate in the selection of the jury. Under our law, each of the parties has the right to exercise what we call juror challenges. This means that each party has the right to challenge a certain number of prospective jurors for any reason or for no reason at all. Therefore, some of you will be excused during the impanelment procedure. If you're not selected for jury service on this case, please don't take it personally. Don't think that somehow you're not a fair person. It's not a reflection on you at all. You will be directed back to the jury room and perhaps picked on another case. In a few minutes, I'll pose a number of questions to you as a group, and you've taken an oath that requires you to truthfully answer those questions and all questions posed to you. I'm not going to ask you to take out your juror cards yet. I'll ask you to do that at a later time. But if your answer is yes to any of the questions that I ask, at that time, I'll ask you to raise your hand and you'll hold up your juror card in the air with the numbers facing out so that the court officer can read it.
That's when we count.
The fact that you answer yes to one of my questions does not mean that you're automatically disqualified from jury service. It simply means that there are matters that the lawyers and I need to discuss with you at sidebar. If you find a question posed to the group overly intrusive, you may elect to answer that at sidebar as well. I will have additional questions for you which relate to the issues that may be raised in the trial and are designed to give us information regarding your ability to serve as a fair and impartial
Does it give you
juror.
anxiety?
And the lawyers are permitted to ask you questions for the same purpose. This is not a test. There is no right or wrong answer. We're simply looking for your best and honest answer to the question. I'm now going to ask the lawyers to introduce you, and I'm going to ask counsel for Ms. Reed to introduce your client.
May I, Your Honor?
Please.
Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Hank Brennan. I represent the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. I appreciate you being here. I'd like you to meet my colleagues.
Good morning, my name is Laura McLaughlin. I'm an assistant district attorney for the Norfolk District Attorney's Office. I thank you for being here this morning.
Morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Adam Lau, Assistant District Attorney with the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office. I just want to thank you again for your time and attention today.
Great, thank
Feels like we've
you.
done this before, right?
Mr. Jackson?
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Alan Jackson. I have the honor and privilege of representing Ms. Karen Reed, who's standing to my right.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Elizabeth Little, and I also have the honor of representing Ms. Reed.
Good morning. My name is Robert Alessi. Thank you for being here today. I have the privilege of representing Ms. Reed.
Good morning. My name is David Yannetti. I'm an attorney. I have offices in Boston and right here in Dedham, and it is truly my pleasure to represent Karen Reed.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Victoria George, and I also have the privilege of representing Ms. Reed.
Good morning, I'm Karen Reed.
All right, thank you. Jurors, I'm going to read you a witness list. It's very long. It does not mean that every person whose name I called will be called as a witness. It means that some of the folks whose names are on this list are just people you may hear about during the trial. I'd ask that you pay close attention to these names because in a little while I'm going to ask you folks if you know any of these people. The list is alphabetical, but it's alphabetical by first name. Aidan Kearney, who is from Jefferson, Mass. Dr. Isaac Wolf from South
At
Miami,
Zoom.
Florida. Alfredo Lopalato from Canton. Allison McCabe, Canton. Andre Porto from the Massachusetts State Police Crime Lab. Andrew Klain from Bridgewater. Andrew Rentschler, who's a PhD from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Angela Malvone from Canton. Annie Chung from Canton. Anthony Flamati, who is with the Canton Fire Department. Ashley Bell from Canton, Ashley Valier from the State Police Crime Lab, Brian Albert, Norwood, Brian Albert Jr.
I'm going to mute this because we've heard this list a million times. So people ask us a lot, why doesn't she give them the list of names and the jurors highlight who they know? The reason that they have to read it out loud is for it to be on the record. So it has to be read on the record to ensure that the jurors absolutely, or potential jurors absolutely 100% heard the name. If they give them the list and then they're like, they get to trial and they're like, oh, I didn't even see that name on the list, then it could be an issue. So they have to have everything done out loud on the record, kind of the same reason they have to do the jury instructions out loud, which sometimes can be very tedious and long. And, if you're like me, you zone out. But it just has to be done for the record. So I'd love to see Alessi in trials after this nightmare is over. I love Alessi's style. Like his organization and the way that he argues the law and his vocabulary and he very much impresses me. I would like to see him in something else as well. The 13th Jurors channel is still there. Actually, I might do a short live on there later today after I get some stuff done. I was going to try to do it earlier in the week, but it's been so busy. But I'll try to do a little live there and show y'all some of that because everybody's been asking me about the wedding stuff, and so I'll show y'all some of the pictures in the video. Am I the same person as Fancy Fiction? I am not, but I have met her, and she is very kind. I met her when we were both at Charlie Adelson's trial. How many people do they have today? I am not sure. I haven't heard them, or I haven't seen any of the people post it yet to say how many are there. I was looking, but nobody that I've seen so far has posted how many are in the pool this time. Alessi is a walking dictionary. Yeah, very impressive. Very impressive. Some of the words he uses, I'm like, huh? I'm doing Kumihimu? Kumi? I don't know what that is. Tell me what that is. I don't know what that is. Do they ask if they know John O'Keefe? It's not on the witness list. Jess Machado is not there today. She is one of the ones that was on the list, right? And then they have 3 alternates who are able to take their place if they have not shown up by 11. Did I ever get married? Yes, it was a surprise wedding. Surprise. Oh, Japanese braiding technique. Very cool. Very cool for jewelry. Very cool. Learn something new every day. I've never heard of it.
From the State Police Crime Lab. Megan Mariani from New York, New York. Michael Camerano, Canton. Michael Easter, Los Angeles. Michael Trotter from the Canton Public Works Department. Michael Wagner, Foxborough. Mike Meroli, from Bridgewater, Mike Rushworth from Thompson Station, Tennessee, Natalie Wyweek
54 potential
Berschneider
jurors
from
today,
San Marino, California, Nathan Reed, Raynham, Nicholas Bradford,
according to
Lorton,
Christina Rex.
Virginia,
She just
Nicholas
posted that.
Curran, West Roxbury, Nicholas Kolokithas, Canton, Nicole Albert, Norwood, Norfolk County District Attorney Michael Morrissey, Officer Kelly
right?
Deaver from the Boston Police Department, Officer Nicholas Barrows from the Dayton Police Department, Patrick Haggerty, Somerset, Paul Makowski from Melrose, Paul O'Keefe
Oh, Mikowski.
from
That
Canton,
reminds me of that
Rebecca
movie. Mike
Bazin,
Mikowski.
Canton, Rebecca Trayers from Norfolk, Dr. Renee Stonebridge, who is also
Monster
from
Inc.
the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner in Boston, Richard Green, St. Pete Beach, Florida, Richard Donatino from Canton, Robert Gilman from Hull, Ryan Nagel, Canton, Sarah Levinson, Canton, Sergeant Brian Gallerini from the Needham Police Department, Sergeant Sean Good from the Canton Police Department, Sergeant Paul D. Giampetro, Canton Police Department, Sergeant Yuri Buchanan from the Mass State Police, Shannon Burgess from South Lake, Texas, Cheryl Waugh from Canton, Sophie Herzan from the State Police Crime Lab, Stephanie Devlin, also from the Crime Lab, Stephen Mullaney, Canton Police Department, Steve Nelson from the Norfolk County DA's office, Stephen Bernstein, who is a keeper of the records in Stoughton,
Keeper of the
Stephen
records.
Ridge, Boston
Sounds
Police
so
Department, Stephen Seraph, Canton Police
official.
Department, Stephen Scanlon, West Roxbury, Terry Kuhn, who is from Davis, California, Tess Chart from Lorton, Virginia, Thomas Beatty from Canton, Thomas Kelleher, Canton, Thomas Martin, Weymouth, Timothy Nuttall from the Canton Fire Department, Tristan Morris from Easton. The following are Massachusetts State Police troopers: Trooper Connor Keefe, Trooper David DeChico, Trooper Evan Brent, Trooper Jeffrey Kuskowski, Trooper Joseph Paul, Trooper Kathleen Prince, Trooper Michael Proctor, Trooper Nicholas Garino, Trooper Zachary Clark, Wendell Robery from Canton, and William Reed from North Dayton, Mass. So there are a lot of witnesses, so you know that this is going to be a long trial. We're in the process of impaneling a jury. We began a while ago and we're getting close. So I don't know when we will get a jury, but once we get a jury, when we start the evidence, I am told by the lawyers that the evidence is expected to take 6 to 8 weeks. After that, you'll hear the lawyers on closing arguments. I will instruct you on the law, and the jury will begin deliberations, and the jury can deliberate for as long as they need to deliberate. So that's our schedule, our time schedule. It is a good faith estimate. Sometimes cases go longer, sometimes they're shorter. What I can tell you is at every jury trial, at the end of the day, I tell the jurors whether we are on track, whether we are ahead of schedule, or whether we're behind schedule. And I have not had to say that we are behind schedule, I think, ever. So we make every effort to make the best use of your time because we know how important your time is to you. The daily schedule will be that we'll start at 9 o'clock in the morning. We'll take a break for about 15 or 20 minutes, sometime around 11 o'clock. Then we'll break for lunch sometime around 1 o'clock. Lunch will be brought in for you folks every day. Again, it's an effort to make efficient use of your time so you don't have to walk down to the center and come back. The luncheon break will be about 30, 40 minutes each day, and then we'll go until about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. If we go any later, I always ask the jury if it's okay with them if we go later. So the latest we would go would be 4:30 if we wanted to finish up a witness. So that's our schedule. There will be a few days and few half days in there sprinkled throughout, and I'll give those dates to the seated jurors at the time. So that's the schedule we'll be working from. Now, it might help if I give you a preview now about some basic law that applies to criminal cases like this. It's my job to teach the jury the law at the end of the case, but for now, I'll give you a very brief summary of some very important constitutional principles that will govern this trial. First, and most basically, Ms. Reed starts this trial presumed to be innocent. The fact that she was arrested or that she was indicted is not proof of anything. An indictment is simply a piece of paper. It just makes an accusation. An indictment is a formal manner of bringing a case of a person accused of a crime before the superior court in this case, but it is only the jury, in other words, you folks, who can decide whether the prosecution has proved its case beyond a reasonable doubt. If the Commonwealth does not do that, then the presumption of innocence requires you to find the defendant not guilty. The law does not require a defendant to prove her innocence, to produce any evidence whatsoever, or to do anything other than attend the trial. This presumption of innocence remains with the defendant until you, the jury, make your determination after listening and considering all the evidence. Another important principle of law is that the defendant has an absolute right not to testify, since the entire burden of proof in this case is on the Commonwealth to prove that she is guilty. Under our system of law,
Oh,
a
look, they all
defendant has
three
a
do have like
perfect
the
right to
same
say to the jury,
style
you
glasses
accuse
on it.
me,
Oh, Jim
now
just
you
leaned
prove
forward.
it, and prove it beyond a reasonable doubt and to a moral certainty. I do not have to say a word. A defendant's decision whether or not to testify has nothing to do with the question
Yes.
of whether she is guilty or not guilty. The
They
jury
will have
must
the
not
siren.
consider it in any way or even discuss it at all in their deliberations. Jurors in a criminal case must determine whether the Commonwealth has proved its case against the defendant beyond a reasonable doubt based solely on the testimony of the witnesses and the exhibits. That brings me to the requirement of proof beyond a reasonable doubt. What is proof beyond a reasonable doubt? The term is often used and probably pretty well understood, though it is not easily defined. Proof beyond a reasonable doubt does not mean proof beyond all possible doubt, for everything in the lives of human beings is open to some possible or imaginary doubt. A charge is proved beyond a reasonable doubt if, after you have compared and considered all of the evidence, you have in your minds an abiding conviction to a moral certainty that the charge is true. When we refer to moral certainty, we mean the highest degree of certainty possible in matters relating to human affairs based solely on the evidence that has been put before you in a case. I have told you that every person is presumed to be innocent unless and until he or she is proved guilty, and that the burden of proof is on the Commonwealth. If you evaluate all the evidence and you still have a reasonable doubt remaining, the defendant is entitled to the benefit of that doubt and must be acquitted. It is not enough for the Commonwealth to establish a probability, even a strong probability, that the defendant is more likely to be guilty than not guilty.
To travel
That
to
is not
Boston,
enough.
do a
Instead,
live podcast as
the
of right
evidence
now.
must convince you of the defendant's guilt to a reasonable and moral certainty, a certainty that convinces your understanding and satisfies your reason and judgment as jurors who are sworn to act conscientiously on the evidence. This is what we mean by proof beyond a reasonable doubt. Our system of justice depends on judges like me and jurors like you being able and willing to make careful and fair decisions. All people deserve fair and equal treatment in our system of justice, regardless of their race, national origin, religion, age, ability, gender, sexual orientation, education, income level, or any other personal characteristic. You have agreed to be fair, and I am sure you want to be fair, but that is not always easy.
They have 16 right now. They're wanting
comes from
to
our own built-in
maybe 3 more.
expectations and assumptions. They exist even if we're not aware of them and even if we believe we do not have them. Some of you may have heard this called implicit bias, and that's what I'm talking about. Of course, we judges have the same problem as everyone else, so let me share a few strategies that we have found useful. First, slow
down.
Do not rush to a decision. Hasty decisions are more likely to reflect stereotypes or hidden biases. Second, keep an open mind. Avoid drawing conclusions until the end of the case when you and your fellow jurors deliberate. Remember that when you deliberate, you will have all the evidence and all the time you need to make a careful decision. So there truly is no need to start making up your mind before then. Third, you should listen closely to all the witnesses. That is the best way to ensure that you decide this case based on the evidence and the law instead of upon unsupported assumptions. Fourth, as you listen to the testimony about the people involved in this case, consider them as individuals rather than as members of a particular
Bruh.
group. And finally, I might ask myself, would I view the evidence differently if the people were from different groups, such as different racial, ethnic, or gender identity groups?
We could
At
do
the
all
end of the
I think
case,
we
I
could
will
mostly
remind you of these
repeat it now.
strategies and ask you to focus on the evidence
Zoom
instead
right
of any
into the eyeball.
unsupported assumptions you may have. All we ask is that you, individually and as a group, do your best to resolve this case based upon the evidence and the law without sympathy, bias, or prejudice, to the best of your ability as human beings. Now, I know that some of this may be confusing, and perhaps all of it's confusing at this early stage. Please don't worry about it, because you'll be.
Okay, I'm muting this again for a second. So Christina Rex just posted again. She's inside the courtroom. She said they need at least 2 more jurors. Then there are still housekeeping motion items to settle before openings. Friday could be a day off, but they're not certain. Monday, of course, is a holiday, so the schedule is very fluid right now.
To agree with the law, but all jurors will have to apply the law as I describe it to you. So for jury selection, it's important to know if any of you might have some doubts whether you can accept and follow these legal principles. So now's a good time to take out your card, because I'm going to start asking you questions in a minute.
Get ready to count.
So if your answer is yes to any question, I'd ask that you raise your hand. But before we begin, I understand that sometimes jurors do not fill out the questionnaires completely. Sometimes we're just in a hurry to get those forms back in, or we think that our situation doesn't apply to the question being asked, or sometimes we simply forget to put something on there. If the lawyers or I see that there's something that's missing, we will ask you. But if you're sitting here now and you realize that you maybe didn't include prior work history or prior involvement with the courts as a defendant in a criminal case, as a witness to a case, as a juror, anything that you know that you didn't include, I would ask that you tell us at sidebar. And if we see something, what happens with some frequency is people forget to put their age on there. We have to ask you because we have to keep a record. All right, so my first question. Do any of you folks or a close personal friend or family member know, or have you had any prior dealings with any of the witnesses? If so, please raise your hand.
Who knows a witness?
1083 1108
1127 1115
1122 1086 1114 1093 1100.
Thank you.
9.
Do any of you folks or a close personal friend or family member know, or have you had any prior dealings with any of the lawyers or the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office? If so, please raise your hand.
1100 1114 1086 1108.
Thank you. Do any of you folks or a close personal friend or family member have any financial or other personal interest whatsoever in this case or its outcome? I see no affirmative responses.
There's been one that whole time that
I'm
said.
going to ask you to
that.
raise your hand if you have seen, heard, or read or talked about this case.
Me, a whole lot.
1136 1198 1098. My apologies. 1068 1090 1120 1082 1109 1138 1075 1108 1125 1063 1091 1134, 1087, 1131, 1102, 1106, 1137, 1083, 1088, 1079, 1097, 1123, 1122, 1080, 1086, 1114, 1092, 1072, 1141, 1139, 1093, 1140, 1066,
1107, 1085, 1127, 1119, 1115, 1112, 1121, 1096.
Thank you.
So 44?
Please raise your hand if you have formed or expressed an opinion in this case.
1136, 1098, 1068, 1090, 1120, 1082, 1109, 1138, 1075, 1108, 1063, 1131, and 1083. 1097, 1122, 1086, 1072, 1093, 1140, 1066,
1107, 1085, 1115, 1112, 1121, 1096.
Thank you. Are any of you folks aware of any bias or prejudice that you may have in regard to this case or in favor of or against either of the parties? If so, please raise your hand now.
1131, 1120, 1068, 1108, 1097, 1093, 1140,
1085.
Thank you.
8.
Do any of you folks have any difficulty hearing or any problem with understanding the English language, any physical or mental condition, or any religious or philosophical
Zoom.
beliefs that would interfere with your ability to hear the evidence in this case, to understand the evidence, to concentrate during the trial, or to deliberate for the purpose of reaching a verdict? If so, please raise your hand.
1068, 1073, 1142, 1078.
Could you say that one again?
The last one?
Yes,
1078,
thank you.
1103, 1129.
Thank you. Do any of you folks have any difficulty understanding or following those very important constitutional rights that I told you about? First, that the burden of proof rests entirely with the Commonwealth. Second, that that burden of proof is proof beyond a reasonable doubt and to a moral certainty. And third, that the defendant has absolutely no burden. She doesn't have to testify. She doesn't have to put on any evidence. All she needs to do is show up for the trial. Is there anyone that would have any difficulty applying those very important constitutional principles? I see no affirmative responses. I can tell you folks that after every jury trial, I go in and I talk to the jurors. And though they may not have been thrilled about having jury duty when they walked in for the first time, by the end of the trial, there have been people on every single jury that have told me that they found their experience to be an interesting one. And many people have told me that they've also found it to be a rewarding one. But I do understand that for some of you sitting on this jury could be a substantial hardship. And let me tell you what I mean by that. Every civic duty we have causes us to be inconvenienced. What we're talking about here is something much greater. It means that it's something personal to you. That means that I excuse you and the person next to you has to take your spot. I generally think of it in terms of you have airline tickets or surgery scheduled for the time that we will be on trial. But I will hear from anyone who thinks they have a substantial hardship. If that's you, please raise your hand.
1136, 1098, 1131, 1073, 1134, 1090, 1091, 1109, 1063, 1070, 1075, 1108, 1083, 1092, 1080, 1072, 1141, 1139, 1093, 1111, 1066, 1140.
1115, 1121, 1096.
All right, thank you very much. I am going to leave the bench in a minute to give you a chance to fill out those supplemental questionnaires that will be provided. I'd ask that you not talk to anybody about those questionnaires, that you don't talk about your answers, you don't talk about any questions or concerns that you might have about jury duty, either in general or in particular to this case. If you have any questions or concerns, please bring them up when you come to see me. Again, I thank you for your patience, and we'll see you in a while.
All rise for the court, please.
Well,
Thank you. You be seated. All right.
whew. Okay. So, what are we thinking? How are we feeling? Out of 54 that are there today, 44 have heard of it and 26 have formed an opinion. So, there's that. Also, the Zoom works, bro. Like you remember some of the pretrial hearings that they had when that one camera kept zooming and it would like all of a sudden it would be like looking at, okay, like the camera's looking at me right now, and then all of a sudden it would be like right, like they're doing that again. They're doing that again. Huh. Is this the record number for have not heard of the case? Yeah, 10 have not heard of it. That's what, 80% that no. So yeah, I think this is the fewest that have heard of it. So because we're right around 89 to 90% every day that have heard of this case. And today that would only be about 80%-ish. that have. So maybe we'll get the rest of who we need today. Maybe. It could happen. Possibly. Marie Moss, here's our official stats. So 44 have heard of it. 26 have formed an opinion. 8 said that they have some kind of bias. 25 said that there will be a hardship. 13 of them know either a witness or a lawyer or DA, and 6 have some issue with hearing, religion, etc. So free my boy Billy Tibbetts. Yeah, I remember that one from the. For those of you who missed that one, it was a Zoom that somebody had logged in on and yelled out on the Zoom so that it picked up on the camera, yelled out like, free my boy Billy Tibbetts. Bless it. Hello from Pennsylvania. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Hello, Missy Russell. Okay, so we may get our final jurors today, y'all. Maybe. I'll keep you posted. We'll see what we can do about this. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe they'll be able to find them. Maybe we can actually get started with openings. Maybe. We'll see. I will try to find out. Hopefully, they'll make some kind of decision and announcement about Friday. Everything is just very up in the air right now. So, there's still motions that have to be ruled on. There's still at least 2 jurors, maybe 3 that they're wanting to get. So there's still stuff that they've got to do. So until they get all of that done, we really won't know when they're going to be doing the opening. So we will keep stalking, keep waiting on them to make a decision and announce it. And as soon as we know, y'all will know. So I'll keep y'all posted. I will try. I have somewhere I have to be in a little while. And then when I get home, I'll try to do a little live later on the Brandi Churchwell, youtube.com, Brandi Churchwell, to show you the wedding stuff. Because I know y'all keep asking me and I keep saying I'm going to do it and I haven't had a chance to do it. It's just been a very, very busy couple of weeks. So I'll try to do that later. If I can't do it today, then I'll definitely make time to do it tomorrow. But I'll try to do it today and I'll show you all the pictures in the video. Okay. I know I keep telling you I will. It's just been busy. It's just been busy, but I will try. I will try. If I can't do it today, then I will make time tomorrow. I have to be somewhere in a little while. But if I can't do it today, I promise I will do it tomorrow. All right. So watch for the update at the end of the day. It'll be here on Crime Junkie Jury. It'll be there on the shorts page. So hit your notifications so you make sure that you get them. And that will have all of our updates from the day, all of the final numbers, all of that good stuff. So if you don't, I just hit my microphone. So if you don't want to wait until tomorrow, then make sure you check out the recap. Otherwise, I will see y'all in the morning. Hopefully we'll have more information tomorrow about what the rest of the week is going to look like and what next week will look like. So we'll see. All right, y'all. I appreciate it. Please, if you have not subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe. If you have not hit like, please do it on the way out. Look, mods, aren't y'all proud of me? Because I always forget to say that, but I remembered this time. Look at me go. I will see y'all bright and early tomorrow for whatever it is they have us in there for. We never know. We just show up. All right, y'all. I appreciate it. Have a good Taco Tuesday, and I will see you tomorrow.